Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Black Boy Joy Live with your host, Ryan O'Neill. It has been quite some time that we have gathered together. I believe probably a year or more that I have had a opportunity to do Black Boy Joy. And so I'm excited. I'm going to just take a couple of minutes and just kind of get us started. Do something really quick, some housekeeping really quick. I've got some special guests. Hopefully they can see this chat. I'm sending them the link to ignore that link. But I want to make sure we share this on our pages and so forth. This is just really impromptu. Normally I'm doing a big flyer and all the other good stuff, but I'm just glad to be here, glad to celebrate my 40th birthday. So I want to do something really quick. I want to take a moment really quick, post this on my Facebook page, and then we'll really get into the show. But hopefully everybody's having positive vibes and good energy and just enjoying the night. I just wanted to come on here again and share some Black Boy Joy and also talk about some things that's been happening in my life, and got some special guests. You know, I normally can't do any Black Boy Joy show without these two. They are my true ride or dies in Black Boy Joy and sharing that, Q and Sierra. And so they'll be joining us in just a few minutes. I just want to repost, share the link with you guys on my social media page and then or our Facebook pages so we could and promptly do what we do. 1 second. We could and promptly everybody that is here and that's watching, that's supporting. So I just sent you guys the link to post on your Facebook page. And again, real informal. Most of y'all know, when I do something, I'm always scripted and want to be real formal. But tonight, I'm just here to reveal in my Black Boy Joy Live. And I really want to say thank you to everyone who's shouted out, who's thought enough of me to express happy birthday and your creative way and loved on me and just shared your expression of gratitude for my life and 40 years and marking this milestone. Thank you. I'll probably try to get to sharing some things with you guys later. At 40, I had to take a break for myself today and just really enjoy the day. So I will be sending out some thank you notes and reaching out to you guys individually. But without further delay, I don't really want to stop it. I want to get the band back together, y'all. Guess who's here?
Hey, y'all.
Sierra and Q. It's been forever.
It has. We're excited to be here.
I'm over here, technology challenge. I'm trying to paste the link and back over. I'm like, okay, hold on.
So excited.
I was doing the same thing. I was like, in times past, we normally have all that together and plugged in. And tonight it was just like, I'm really, as I'm starting to be 40, as I started to, I am 40, as I started to ease into this, I'm like, I'm just start showing up how I show up. Mm-hmm. Perfect or not, this is what you get. I was thinking about, I went to the water park a couple of months ago, and I took my shirt off and got in the pool or whatever, and I said they're gonna get this dad bod. I worked hard. Y'all be working hard in the gym with all the crunches and all the other good stuff, and
I ate. That's okay. Okay, one day I'll be brave enough to go to the beach in a swimsuit. I'm gonna have that type of confidence. So
you just gotta do it. You just gotta
just let it all just
let it. That's it. That is it.
I love that.
The summer, the fall, they gonna get whatever is up under this t-shirt.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yes. Look, and because I heard a friend of mine say, she says, I'm no longer trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to stop gaining weight. Then I start losing weight.
Right, right. I went to the grocery store today and just started getting healthier options, not completely changing everything, but some small, like starting small with fruit and, different options. And so that's just my baby step. So it's all about the process. So yeah.
That's awesome. So T, we're so glad to see you, lady. How has everything been for you? It's been a year or more since we've gotten together. And it's crazy.
Has it been a year?
I think so.
It's been a minute.
Wow. Things have just been, of course, up and down. But I'm just glad to say that I'm so much better now than I was a year ago. I've had to navigate a whole lot of things, personal transformation, realizing that I've experienced trauma in my life and how to understand that, working through things with school and finally getting breakthrough with that. And so just learning how to balance it all. But overall, I can't complain. And I am just happy to see y'all. This has been the best part of my week so far. So yeah, yes, it's an honor to be here. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. So I said that 20 times, but I am.
It's okay, sis. I'm happy like you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's awesome. You, dude, always been an inspiration. We'll unpack it later, but how have you been?
I ain't even gonna lie to the people. I've been great. I will also be transparent and say that it has been up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But I have, thanks to Dr. Reverend Faith, my new therapist, and just really, I want to say my newfound self-awareness, I've been able to manage the downs a little bit better.
That's good.
I'm extremely grateful for the ups. But managing the downs and, managing my expectations, what may come off as disappointment or whatever the case may be has been rewarding. I've taken a break, from social media to basically redefine my reality, which is actually pretty doggone fantastic. One thing that I was starting to realize, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, but seeing everybody else's reality, or at least what they were putting out, was just really making me question, like, am I really doing what I need to be doing? Or am I, just all of these different things is just really making me question my circle and like what was, what I had been surrounding myself with. But taking that break and really focusing in on my present and being more self-aware, it's like, it's dope over here.
Yes. And it's refreshing. I think I took a month off. And it was like, so, because you can get overwhelmed by what everybody else is doing, and that's only the highlight reel. Let me pause. And then whenever I came back, I was like, oh, ain't that really happening? You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. It was peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look, like actually not worrying about showing, my happiness or my joy or whatever, but mostly just having it. So another practice that I picked up, especially with the getting off of social media thing, is staying away from my phone. So like if I go out, have a good time or whatever, like most of the time my phone is like down or it's in my pocket or something like that. Like I've been really trying to be in the moment. And because of that, like I have been appreciating basically the stuff that was already surrounding me the whole time, but I have a newfound appreciation for it because now I can actually see it. And it's the simplest stuff. Like, Lord, I thank you for clean linens.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally the simplest stuff. Like the other day, I was telling a friend, I was just sitting in my apartment and I was like, you know what? I want some ice cream. And I got up and I went and got that ice cream. And I don't know what it was about that moment or the fact that me realizing I guess I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
But I went and got that ice cream. I was like, you know what? I am content. That is not to say that things don't happen that make me, temporarily, sad or make me feel or whatever. But the way that I've been managing them is like much better and just coming into like full circle, realizing like we're supposed to feel things. Like there's nothing wrong with me because I feel deeply or I'm sensitive to certain things, or I get off of social media because I realize I'm a little bit more sensitive than other people. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like redefining what masculine is. Like I can still be sensitive, redefining, you know, my black boy joy. We talked about that ad nauseum. So it's just
I love it. I love it. And it's not based off the social media movement caused us to get so hung up on, the latest trend or the fad. And that's, posting this and posting these long messages and doing these long, and I've had to accept for myself, like, I can choose to either be in the moment and live in this moment, or I can post. And I can't live in the moment. For me, I'm not saying anybody else can. I can't live in the moment posting and going live and doing things. And I love and appreciate people that do it because, I love to see what you're doing and it's beautiful. But the way that I'm set up, and I've had to accept that about me, that, living in that moment, living in the moment, and
it's beautiful because sometimes posting takes away from the moment. I've had some incredible moments off camera, if that makes any sense. And once you post it, it's like, oh, okay. And then only 4 people like it. And then it's like, oh, well, was my moment really that great? You know what I mean? So I think living in the moment and being present is a very awesome thing to do. So,
and it's also like a piece of it is, I'm sorry, Ryan, but a piece of it is also like a little selfish because, to be honest, especially, we'll talk about it later, but being in a new relationship.
Okay.
I really don't, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to share all those moments with everybody.
Right. Right. Just share with us.
Y'all will get the moments, okay?
Right.
Like I got an album right now I can send y'all.
Right.
It's literally like those moments that I'm having, even outside of relationships, just with my friendships, because I'm trying to deepen those as well, just deepen meaningful relationships. Those moments, like I'm realizing that I want to be stingier with them because when you put stuff out there, you kind of open yourself up for, likes, comments, subconsciously, well, dang, I only got this many likes or this many. Like, do people see my moment like I see my moment? Do they, value my moments like I value my moments? And it's literally like, you know what? I can come back to the moments. I have them in my photo album, or I have something that I've captured somewhere, or a souvenir or something. I can keep that for myself. I don't have to kind of adulterate that experience by basically like sharing it. And there's nothing wrong with it because clearly I still share some things, but there is I don't know. It's just something about keeping something for yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, because can't nobody touch it.
Right.
It's yours.
And once you put it out there, you can delete it, but it can't be unseen. You know how people are, they'll show a screenshot of such and just posted this.
Right.
They delete the tweet, And so just being able to be confident in owning that moment, because I think sometimes we realize that the imagery or the persona that people have or perception of you is really not your truth.
Right.
You're not telling or living in your truth. That's your perception of me. And I'll use an example. Most people think that I'm, could say that I'm unbothered or that, I am, you can't tell when I'm hurting or because I don't show a lot of emotions. I'm a private person. Does not mean that all types of bells and whistles and depression and anxiety is going on. And as you said earlier, before we got on live, Q, about overthinking, people don't realize sometimes I overthink taking a shower. And I know that sounds shallow and but sometimes, and again, when you overthinking and people don't see that on the outside, they just see cool, calm, and collected. I had someone to tell me recently that, you have to live in your best life and this is going on. I'm like, what? You assume that everything is just peachy keen in my life and that I don't have other, thoughts of other things happening just because I post a picture or I post a post, and it almost makes you feel bullied you can't celebrate those moments without feeling judged.
Yeah.
So you get to the place of either, you don't do it or you just be like, it is what it is.
Right.
And that's what I'm coming to. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. I feel guilty sometimes. I don't know, like posting great things. I'm like, dang, well, am I doing too much or whatever? I'm like, no, because if I'm going through something, I want people to, well, I don't want people to see that, but it's easy to post something when you're feeling emotional about something. But when you're doing something great, it's also good to post that because you could be inspiring somebody else to pursue their dreams or do something that they want to do. So it's a nice balance between the two. So yeah.
And I think we have to do that balance of not necessarily just posting always the good, but I find myself gravitating to people's posts that are, I'm not having a good day today, or I'm facing. So my new thing is TikTok, y'all. I don't know if y'all got into TikTok yet, but
I just got into it and I love it.
Yes.
I have an account. I just don't know how to use it. I don't know. I gotta learn.
So much fun.
It's so much because you feel like it's so less.
Like, what is fun about it?
It's kind of like so it's kind of like the explore page of Instagram because you can kind of scroll and see like the people that you follow doing their videos and stuff. But you can also just do, I think it's like a For You page or something. You can scroll and see like you'll see different challenges, people doing like little snippets, voiceovers. It's very interesting. Like if you're not careful, you could literally be scrolling for like an hour and a half. So it can be addicting. So I definitely had to take my practices about, restraining myself over there. But it's fun. Like you don't necessarily, for me, I'll say, you don't have to interact with the post. And for me, it doesn't feel like there's the pressure to really interact with the post. I don't know if it's the layout or the setup, but it's just kind of like, oh, I'll watch it. If I don't want to watch I just scroll past it. Like there's really no pressure. So I don't know. It's like it's definitely a hybrid between like Instagram and like I'll say Snapchat.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I think it's fun.
Like you said, you don't feel the pressure to comment or something like that because it's like you look at somebody's Facebook post, you're like, oh, let me love that. Let me you feel that kind of algorithm of especially when you read somebody's post and like, oh, that was powerful, that was great, and you're like, oh, let me like it or love it. But in this TikTok, whether it's a voiceover, it's a dance, it's a skit, it's a comedian, it's motivational, it's flirty, it's whatever you can think of, self-compassion. But it like you said, you don't feel attached, so you can just have hours, scrolling different people's, and you just it's really fun. But I say that to say that even in that, just unapologetically doing it. Not thinking, because with Facebook, if you are anybody knows me, especially by text, I'll get to thinking too fast, and so I'm not texting the right grammatical points or whatever. So I just try not to do as much written social media without it being edited or filtered. And so with Instagram, you kind of those likes is just staring at you in your face, like, ooh, how many likes did you get on your post? Should you keep doing it? Like you said, but TikTok is just you just being yourself. And so
okay, well, I might try. I might, give it another whirl.
Yeah,
we didn't crazy. I only have one video that I've posted. I
really
literally only have one video, but like I ain't gonna say I'm always on there. Maybe every other day. Once every 3 days, I'll get on there and like I'm checking and I'm scrolling. And people, let me say something. People are creative. Because you have to be your own artistic director, creative director. People are making full live like skits, and it is very creative, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see. But it's just, I don't know, for some reason it just feels like less pressure than scrolling through like Facebook or Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, and then some of those like really heavy with the political climate that we've been in. It's not that you don't want to see what's happening in the world. I want to take a break from seeing, and it just, and TikTok is like, you may run across something and it's political or world happening. You can either just filter it, keep going, again, the self-compassion, the voiceover. It's just, it's a great thing. I know we're giving TikTok a big shameless plug, but
we really are. We gonna switch it in a minute. TikTok, okay? He's not sponsored.
I was gonna say, cut the check, TikTok.
Let's cut it. Next subject.
But I find it, it's interesting. But so let me ask you this question: how are you guys expressing yourselves in the spaces you in the past year? Because I'm learning if you don't express yourself creatively, you're frustrated a little bit more. So how do you find yourself?
T.
Y'all, I've been having personal dance parties in my apartment. Full out playlist. I'm talking about, I cleared out, I threw away a desk because it was in my way. I have a whole dance floor behind me. So I will change the groove. I will dance until I can't dance anymore and just feel the music, feel the expression. And I love it. And that's what brings me pure joy. Because sometimes I don't know the words to say, but I can express myself in that way because I love music. So that is my number one way that I've expressed myself. So,
wow, beautiful,
mm-hmm.
beautiful. What say you, Q? Besides being booed up.
Okay, LMA.
I've been doing a little bit of everything. I've had the dance parties. My showers are longer than they've ever been. Because I am having a full concert. There's actually a reminder on my mirror to smile and dance every day.
Mm-hmm.
But between that, I cry. That's actually a form of expression I've learned because I'm sensitive, and there's nothing wrong with Black men being sensitive. That makes me human, apparently. So I've been crying, music, and then I've really just been like, I'll say like more so like living life on my own terms. As you can see, I got a little situation going on, like I'm growing.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I mean,
I'm growing my hair back out, making a statement for myself. I am, and I'm a penny pincher, I'll say. So Bay is not so much. So he helps me kind of get out of my head when it comes to that, because I'm always like, okay, but what about this? What about this? Like, it's like PTSD or something. But it's like I'm, spending more on things that make me feel good. Like, apparently, I really love tennis shoes.
Okay.
And so, when I have it, bills are paid, everything's kind of taken, care of, and I'm in my disposable part of my income. It's like, okay, like I can get a pair of tennis shoes. So it's literally everything from crying to dancing to laughing to having a moment to shopping to whatever allows me to feel fully that moment. Like I'm literally doing it. Like today on my way home, I was listening to Donnie McClurkin, a live version of Great Is Your Mercy.
Oh,
that's
how did you make it home?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But I literally, like I just had a moment. Like I laughed because, I'm thinking back on times where, I didn't think that I was going to get the mercy. I cried because of the mercy that I have received. I smiled because and it's just like in that moment, like whatever it was in that moment. And then I went and got kava because I love kava. So it is amazing. So literally, I'm just like trying to be more in tune. So back to that self-awareness I was talking to you about earlier, like just realizing like whatever it is that's going to help me to fully enjoy the moment. Like I'm doing whatever that is. Whatever that is.
I love that. And Ryan, you have to answer too. So
I think for me, it's being and really learning to accept me and showing up as me and going back to that moment of, there's sometimes people can have the expectation because you do this, you're smart. Like, so you're the smartest guy in the room, so you should know the answer, or you are technical savvy, you should know, or you like, and sometimes for me, it's like, yeah, you putting pressure on me to be something that today I don't feel like doing it. Right now, I feel like watching TV and I feel like being depressed. I feel like not answering the phone. I feel like not managing or solving some problems at work. I just, and that's where I'm at in that space, and really being protective. And I'm probably a little bit over it sometimes, protective of my emotions. So being able to express them, because I feel like there has been so much of me doing versus being. And I think we get caught up in just doing, like, let me do the right thing, let me do the right job, but if being the right person or being committed is not who you are and what you innately want to be, then doing only lasts for so long. If that makes sense.
Right, it does.
Because for so long, you'll get tired of just doing. And one day, doing it's going to get real tired and, it's just going to show up.
Yeah.
And so, you guys have known, I think since April, May, I've transitioned to Dallas, Texas now. So I'm a Texas resident. And so
Dallas, by the way.
Come
I'm
on.
coming with him.
And that's been a transition. One of my cousins, we grew up together, and he asked me all the time when we were hanging out, and it's a really crazy question. He's like, how are you transitioning? Like, because my family is here, or a nuclear part of my family is here. Mm-hmm. I've had family in Charlotte. I have family, in DC. I have family all over. And I've gotten used to the family dynamics and the interaction there. And then you move here, and then there's a different dynamic of being able to, my little brother and I live together now. And so we haven't lived together since probably I was 15, 16.
Oh, wow.
But it's a great vibe. We love it. And it just happened by happenstance. So getting, going from seeing each other maybe once or twice a year to now, like, we can go hang out. We can have dinner from my other siblings. But that still can be overwhelming at times because, as transitioning, new job, new other things, I still got stuff in Charlotte. I've got to get down here. And just that whole transition period has been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Has been a whole lot. So I was looking forward to 40, thinking that, okay, after September 7th, it's going to be a new year and everything's going to turn over. But I realized the bills still came. Certain things still come with it. I'm just really practicing a lot of acceptance,
mm-hmm.
allowance, appreciation, and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, and hopefully we'll have him on real soon. And he shared that with me about the 3 A's, and I added the fourth, the acceptance, allowance, appreciation, and accountability. Okay. And we just got to learn to accept it is what it is. And that's a struggle.
Period. Okay. And I don't want to chime in, but I'm gonna wait till you get the thought.
No, chime in. We can talk about the other three later, but chime in about that acceptance, y'all. That acceptance
is so real. Once you accept what it is, then you make your move after that. If this person has done this, if this situation is what it is, it just is what it is. How are you going to move? If they've abandoned you, if they've talked about you, if they've moved on, if they've said this, if they've done that, it is what it is. But what I won't allow is anyone to violate any boundary, any manipulation, anything. You have a choice to do what you want to do with your life. As long as I know that I'm moving in respect and peace, at 38 years old, I am accepting what it is, and it's going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
And there's freedom in that. There's freedom from opinion. There's freedom in Christ or whatever your faith is. There's freedom to inspire others. It's freedom to be who you need to be for yourself.
Yeah.
Living in denial will keep you so bound.
So thank you for saying it. I was about to ask you, what is your definition of acceptance? Because you always have these wonderful spin on things. What would be your definition of acceptance?
I don't know if I'm gonna be profound tonight because I'm just sitting here drinking my juice. I've been nervous. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I've been in the house sitting in my PJs.
Okay. I put us back to work.
I've been sitting in PJs. But basically, so I did want a caveat with acceptance because it is liberating. However, in my limited experience, I'll say acceptance has also been, at least temporarily, painful depending on what it is that I'm accepting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So going through, therapy and just kind of really trying to put things in perspective, I've literally had to accept some things that I've been trying to change for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, it's painful because a piece of me thought that I had the autonomy to change those things. I had the power to change those things because I've changed so many. In my mind, I've changed so many other things, or I've defeated the statistic. You know what I'm saying? I've done so many other things that I've become what I wasn't supposed to become. So surely I could change these other things. And literally, some things are just what they are. Accepting relationships, accepting relationships current and former.
Oh my gosh. Now this is the path. That's the pathway.
It can be painful.
That's
so
the pathway.
Really accepting, oh, we've been friends for years. I don't necessarily understand why the dynamic feels a little different and we ain't as close or we don't talk as much and da 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 da. Accepting that, you know what? This is just where we are.
Yeah.
I love my friend. I love you to death. Like, I still love you, but we're not there anymore. We're not where we once were when we met. We're in two different places. In fact, we may be moving in two different directions, but the love that I have for you is still the same, but it's painful to accept because I don't want to let that go. And I'm holding on to you because whatever memory that we share, I mean, it could be a trauma bond, but that's another conversation. But whatever memory that we share, it's like I'm holding on to that. But sometimes it's like the things that you're holding on to are the very things that are keeping you from moving forward, even if that means moving forward in the other direction from the person. Right. So for me, relationships, accepting that was also hard for me. And it was painful. So acceptance is liberating. Like liberating yourself from other people's like expectations. The acceptance of myself was probably my biggest thing. And I posted something earlier, and it's only because it was really on my mind. I tell people all the time, when I post stuff, it's because I be talking to myself. So when I go back, I can see it. There was never anything wrong with me before I started making all these changes and trying to become this super corporate professional, this super smart. I had to know everything, this all these expectations that people have. Oh, he's so smart. He's going to be the next this and he's going to be the that. Like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe my goal in life is to have peace. And it's
at any cost.
It seems simple enough, but it's like, it's not. So acceptance of myself, there was literally nothing wrong with me. And so accepting that me being sensitive, me being creative, me being all of these things that may not fit into these bubbles that other people have put me in, but liberating myself from those expectations and accepting more of me. It was painful at first because I'm like, dang, I done came so far down the road. I wish I would have known this back then. But I say all that to say that acceptance, it's a beautiful thing once you get over that initial hump, if it is painful, but it's necessary, whether it's painful, whether it's joyous, whatever, it is necessary. Just accept what it is. Accept everybody knows the serenity prayer, but accept the things that you cannot change.
Right.
And then things you can.
It's crazy because that prayer is something we grew up on, but when you are in the now and you really think about that thing, that's a tough prayer.
It is.
And I remember praying that and saying that, God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, and the grace to change things.
It's something like that.
Give me the grace to change the things I can.
He's gonna get it.
Yeah, he will get it. But
God grant me.
We got posters and signs.
The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Wow. My mama gave me this years ago, and I have gotten rid of it.
Came through tonight.
But what's crazy is we focus so much. We can focus so much on the acceptance and the will to change, but we forget about the wisdom. Because if we don't know what we should be changing, then if we're trying to change something, we should be accepting, and accepting something we should. If that makes sense. How many times? Hey, Seven. I was about to ask about him. How many times have we found ourselves trying to change? Like you said earlier, who we really are. Like, accept this. This is who you are. You're a sensitive man. You're emotional. You're whatever you are. And I'm learning, like you said earlier, it's painful, but and to Sierra's point, it's free. But it's scary because when you have to accept, like we talked about the call, accepting disappointment, if I don't accept that this is disappointment and this is what it is, and if I keep trying to change my disappointment and make my disappointment be something that is not, then I'm gonna keep making myself frustrated, and and it ain't got to be all that.
Yeah.
If I could just accept disappointment can pass, and what I need can come on. But because I can't accept it, that's just my 2 cents about acceptance.
Yes. And I want to add to that and say timing is everything. You don't have to rush yourself like you expect the next month for all of this stuff to transpire.
Mm-hmm.
There's an evolution happening here. You're literally taking the scenic route in your life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like feeling every expression and every emotion that you can look back and actually really note your change. And the whole point is so that we can pay it forward to help someone else. We are called to be this light. So we have to pay it forward. So if you don't have any experience, you don't have any lessons in life, how are you going to pay it forward? How are you going to leave your mark? So,
yeah. And another thing that I wanted to say about acceptance, especially that acceptance of self, oftentimes we always say, like, what God has for me is for me. What if it's for me, it's for me, da 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 da. Putting off that acceptance of what it is or who you are, you literally are delaying that very thing that's supposed to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come to the you that you're supposed to be. Like, once you accept, this is who I am, this is, the situation, this is where their relationship is, the very things that are for you are literally on the other side of the door. But running from the acceptance and trying your hardest to pad it with all of this other stuff that you think, like, you're literally blocking the very thing that's supposed to be for you when you accept.
You also have to let go what's not for you. Patterns, emotions, people, behaviors.
And you got to accept it. People are who they are. So if you are a person that is not for me in this season, I have to accept that and stop trying to hurt myself, trying to make you be.
But you know what? You know what's bigger? You know what's bigger than that? And
I know what you're about to say.
This is what's gonna hurt.
I know what you're about to say.
If I'm not for you.
I knew it. I knew you was gonna say that.
Let me tell you something. That thing there.
That thing is something.
It literally took. So I'm not gonna say anybody's name. So if y'all here, welcome. But there's 2 particular situations where I realized I'm not for you.
Right.
Either I'm not good for you or I'm not for you.
Right.
And it takes a certain level of maturity and wisdom to realize that, and then to also consult with the big man or, whatever your faith is, to see how do you move after that. Because it's kind of hard. It definitely goes against the ego to come to the conclusion that you're not for someone.
Because it makes you feel like you're not enough, and it makes you take it personal. When reality, that acceptance of I'm not for you does not mean you're a bad person. We got bad vibes or bad juju or whatever. It's just, you like sushi, I don't,
and that's it. And we could have had a good time, some good moments, and that's fine. But you are not the peanut butter to my jelly, and that is okay.
And even deeper than that, what it is that you need in this season, I can't give it to you.
Exactly. So find somebody who can. That's great. That's fantastic.
I can't give it to you. And especially, let me speak specifically. Come here. I'm gonna speak to the men's.
Mm-hmm.
You get in her life and you realize that what she needs in this season, you don't have. You cannot give.
Yeah.
And you are not willing to do the work to be able to get that to give it. I need you to exit.
Left.
There's nothing wrong. You are the bigger man by saying, you know what, I realize these are the things that you need. These are the things that you deserve because I respect you. And because I can't give that to you, I'm not for you in this time and in this season.
Her or his life.
Her or his life.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And in that, there should be no judgment. There should be no shame in that.
Nope.
There should be nothing in that. There should be no that you're not enough, that you're a bad person, that you're not good enough, that you're not making enough money, that you're not smart enough, you're not big enough, you're not small enough, whatever enough. You are enough for who you are enough for. And you are, and until you accept that you're enough for yourself, then you can realize you are enough for who you're enough for, and those that you're enough for will gravitate towards you. You know, you keep trying to pull people to your table that don't want to come celebrate with you, and you keep getting your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
versus just, and so being able to, like you said, exit stage left, but we also have to remind ourselves, just because I'm exiting stage left, you know, I'm learning at 40, I'm thankful for the people that left. While it hurt, and it sometimes caused some regurgitation and some pain, I'm thankful that you left, because now that I see where we are, my life is way better and your life is way better. Not because we're bad people, just don't fit.
I'm about to twist it. I'm about to twist it up.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
What about family relationships?
Oof.
What about your your parents or your grandparents, or you know, your sister or brother, or whoever it is, and that relationship is not as it's intended? So help me understand, or help the people navigate.
But acceptance is not bad. So, you know, it's kind of like where if you got that, and God bless that person, that person, that family member that's dealing with a drug addiction, you know, and they like to steal, they got a couple of maniac, you know, you do what? You lock your purses up in the other room and you say, okay, come on to get your plate. And this is where you sit on the porch. You know, I'm accepting you for where you are. And I had to stop, and I have to really take a real look within myself, you know, with accepting people for who they are. It does not mean I judge you, because whatever stories you're telling yourself has nothing to do with me. And I have to realize that, you know, people that hurt you or family members, and, you know, do I portray that all the time? No. So please don't, if you want to use this as judgment and rehash and replay this for me, I'm okay with that. But I'm just saying that ultimate reality is that family, friends, foe, whomever, you have to accept you. And accepting you is also accepting people's good and bad. You know, y'all remember Soul Food when they say Cousin Faith?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you invited Cousin Faith to stay in your house, you knew what Faith was. You know what Cousin Faith was going to do anyway. So you can't get mad and be offended because Cousin Faith slept with your husband. I'm not, because you would think, you're thinking that you're an exception to the rule, versus accepting Faith will sleep with anybody's man. And so that's how I feel about family and friends, is that, okay, we see each other and I accept you and you should accept me. So if you're sensitive, you're sensitive. I'm not going to try to change you. I need to accept you for being sensitive. So that means that if I'm going to come to Q, I'm going to have to be able to realize, you know, I can't just go say, I love him enough. I got to figure out how to handle him. Same with T. Like, if I accept you.
Mm-hmm. Do you accept abandonment from family?
So I'm gonna say this right here. This is where I split hairs between what I accept and what I will not accept when it comes to family specifically. So in this new practice that I've learned in establishing boundaries, that's a bunch of stuff I'm not going to accept, including the violation of those boundaries. So with something like, I'll say abandonment, something like abandonment, I've accepted the situation.
Okay.
It happened.
Okay.
Nothing I can do about it. I cannot change that. Now, the things, the blowback, or the things that you want to do kind of, you know, after that, or, you know, you want to make excuses, you want to X, Y, and Z, you want to whatever. Now I'm choosing what I will accept and what I won't accept. I've accepted the situation. Like, I'm no longer scarred and, you know, bruised by that. That's fine. I will not accept you exploiting.
Mm-hmm.
I will not accept you dismissing how I feel about the situation. I will not accept you overlooking or trying to put away my feelings, or whatever the case may be. Like there are still some. While I accept the situation, so this is where I kind of got to split hairs. I accept the situation to the point that I can move forward, with and heal on my own. But there are certain things in the aftermath that I'm just not going to accept. And outside of the realm of abandonment, there's a lot of things that come with family and friends that I'm just not going to accept.
Right.
I accept a lot of things about a lot of different people, but the way that I exhibit that acceptance looks different. I accept that you're a thief. And because of that,
I'm not going to lie to your face.
Right.
I don't want you around me.
My thing is, I accept you.
No love lost.
But that doesn't mean that means I'm not going to allow you to have this space in my life, or I'm not going to allow you to. And that's where I think the allowance part comes into, and segue into allowances. Allowance is just, what I allow.
Mm-hmm.
What I will allow is, if I know, there have been people I've dated, and I'm like, you don't even like me. And if I continue to allow you to mistreat me, that's on me.
Right.
If you allow someone to mishandle you, when does that go from them abusing you to you abusing yourself?
Whoa, pause. Whoa. Run it. Say it. Can you just say it again? Do you remember?
When does that go from them abusing you to you abusing yourself? Albert Einstein said it. What did he say? Something that you keep doing and getting the same results is insanity. If I keep calling Q and Q never answers his phone, I can't keep getting mad at Q. You never answer your phone. I got to make a choice to say, he just don't answer his phone.
Right.
And I'm going to stop calling, or I'm going to keep calling every day and he not answer his phone.
Right. Right.
I have to speak up for myself and protect myself enough to say, you know what? Let me stop calling Q, because he's a texter. So let me just text him versus call him. Because if I'm mad he not answering his phone, but I know he don't answer his phone, then what am I doing to myself?
Mm-hmm. You're hurting yourself.
If I know T is a loving person and she cooks and she does her stuff, but you got to be there on time. If you ain't there by 2:00 and at 2:05 she got attitude, and every time I show up to her and I'm late and she mad at me, I gotta accept, that cuss out or whatever.
Absolutely, because it's on the way. Yeah.
But I'm abusing myself. I'm putting myself in that situation. And I'm realizing my awareness is that with some people and certain things, like, as much as I like it or like you or the idea, that's insanity.
It is.
So like, I wanted to follow up because you had said something.
Go ahead.
That I wanted to follow up on real quick about what the abuse or the treatment that we accept from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, speak on that.
And I want to I just really quick. I don't know how profound it's going to be.
Go ahead.
So
take your time.
Trying to be nice about it. So at some point, so the part of the prayer says to accept the things that I cannot change.
Okay.
There are some things that you can change,
mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When we're accepting things about ourselves, especially in the realm of dealing with other people, accepting abuse, mistreatment, things like that, there are some things in there that you can change.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is accepting your role and how you foster certain relationships, accepting the role that you play in allowing, because at some point it is allowing, whether it's passive or active, you're allowing people to treat you a certain way.
That's true.
A big part of accepting is making a little column over here for the things that you can and cannot change. Mm-hmm. Some things can be changed. If I'm realizing that somebody is treating me a certain way, I can accept it, I cannot accept it, or I can realize that, you know what, the reason that I keep experiencing the same pattern of people treating me this way is because there's something about me that I'm looking for in this person. And I keep running into that same person over and over and over again. So before I look at any external acceptance, let me accept that there is something in me looking for the same broken person I've been dealing with for the past 3 years.
Ooh, see now, Q.
Acceptance. I mean, because that thing was sitting on my heart. And the reason it was sitting on my heart, because I had to do a deep dive and realize, like, I took out my notes on my phone. I went through all of my exes that I felt treated me a certain way and whatever. And I found a thread. I was literally accepting lesser treatment because what I felt like I deserved in that moment, or I was literally looking for the same person, and I found that same person over and over and over and over again because I felt that I could change them without doing the necessary work to change myself.
I'm logging off.
And I don't know what it is about us sometimes that makes us feel that it would be easier to try to change someone else than to change ourselves, when the real reward would actually be in changing ourselves. But that happens. And that acceptance, you gotta deal with the things that you can and cannot change, because there's literally some things that you can and cannot change. But sometimes that conversation is one that we don't want to have. We want to bypass that part and say, well, I'm gonna either accept this or not accept it. No, let's back up. What would be changed, and then go to what you can, because you're accepting the things that you cannot change. Don't forget that part. It's the things you cannot change. The things you can change, as far as looking for the same person, looking for someone who's emotionally unavailable, because that's the type of love and support you used to. Your parents were emotionally unavailable, so you used to vying for attention, right? You used to winning over attention. That's the ultimate medal for you at the end of the race. If I can get this person that doesn't show me love to show me love, that's the prize. So you go for the same person over and over again, but that's something you could change.
Because I think that that's the only way that you get love. I don't realize that love is easy. You see what I'm saying? So I don't realize that someone loving you is supposed to be easy in that regard, versus you used to carrot in the whole what they call the horse and the carrot trick for love. You know, and you say that because I think dating is beautiful, and I think people should keep dating, because you learn about yourself. But you also have to ask yourself, if you keep attracting the same type of people in your life, you're the common denominator. Not that there's, and I used to think, what are you saying? Something's wrong with me? But then I had to realize it's not anything wrong with me. Is that I need to take a look at what I keep attracting. Because if I keep allowing people to come into my life, and like you said, they're emotionally unavailable and they do the horse and carrot thing, they disappear and they do the crumbs, you know, the ghosting thing, but I keep making excuses and allowing that, versus saying, no, this is what I need. Speaking up for myself. You see, because if you don't speak up for yourself, so what I'm learning, because there's somebody for everybody. Think about it. Y'all see the memes, you know, we've seen some couples, you just like, ooh, there's somebody for everybody. But
God's love comes in many shapes and forms.
It does, but you have to respect it, because you realize that I now cognizant of the people that are in those relationships. I used to question, like, now if they got a boob, something wrong with me. I'm learning that it's not something wrong with me, is that they've accepted who they are, which means that they will allow only certain things out of the person that they date. Because if you are of a sensitive person, I can't be with someone that can't respect my sensitivity. Mm-hmm. You can't look at me and say, oh, here you go again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need you to be able to say, okay, what we got to do to get you out the sensitive? We got to dance. Let's dance. You're not judging me or shading me for me being me. If I'm sensitive, if I'm emotional, if I'm a drunk, whatever.
Or bringing it up later.
You are looking at me and you are saying that's who you are. But I got to be cognizant and aware enough to realize how this person really makes me feel. And if they're always making me feel like I'm not good enough and I'm a zero, and I've been married twice before, and so I can say this. I've been married on both spectrums, male and female. So I'm not speaking from just one spectrum. But when you are comfortable enough with someone that you can share your most anything and desires to not feel judged and shamed, then you're safe. If you can't make me feel that safe,
Q, you smiling, Q? You smiling? Do you have an experience? You got to tell
what about your relationship, Q? Congratulations.
Do you have a testimony burning in your spirit? But yes, Ryan, yes.
I really beat myself up a lot of times. I smile when I think about this young lad, because
Y'all, you said it. Let me say this, y'all. So we love Q. Q is, y'all know Q, and Q is an amazing person, profound, but he's protective of his heart. And T, when I saw Q was in a relationship, did you skip a heartbeat? Because you was like,
I did take a screenshot. Q, I did. I just had to just keep it.
This Negro, because if you're in a relationship, that means you love, and it's a real thing. Because
right.
I love it.
You know, I'm quite sure people have caught your attention.
But Ryan, if we do the playbacks of Black Boy Joy, you can even see that this was not even on the horizon. He was working on himself and doing all.
But I literally said this to a friend this past weekend. He literally came when I was not looking. The only person I was looking to find was myself. That was it. The way that I've been able to show up in this relationship is unlike any other relation. And I don't mean any harm to anybody else if y'all are watching. I have respect and love for everybody that I've shared space with. However, this is the safest that I've felt in a very long time. I understand, relationships are about communication and, all of that thing and building. And it does help that we were friends for a very long time, but there are so many things I don't have to say. With both of us, we were doing the work separately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When we came together, some of our first conversations was not about, being enmeshed and all. It was literally about the work that we were doing on ourselves and what we were trying to bring to the table. And it's not like he wasn't trying to sell himself to me. I wasn't trying to sell myself to him. It was literally like, these are the things that I'm doing. These are conversations that I'm having with my therapist. This is kind of what I'm looking for, short-term, long-term goals. But when I tell you safe, I mean, like, if I want to talk about anything, if I want to feel anything, I've also come to realize that I'm a nurturer, provider type person. So it's really hard for me to receive things. I'm sorry, y'all. But it feels good. But the one thing that I will say I want to revisit is when I say accepting who you are so that you can get what it is that you are supposed to have. Not what somebody else is supposed to have. When you spend all of this time not accepting who you truly are, the person that you are, and you're trying to be all this other stuff because people keep putting a paintbrush on your vision of who you are, because people think you should be more professional. You could speak better. You could dress better. You could this, you could that. They're setting you up to receive a blessing that ain't yours. Everything that is coming to you is going to come to you, but accept everything about yourself, because you, the true version of you, is the one that's going to receive that thing. It's true. Whatever is for you, that is for you, but it's for you. It's not the you trying to be. It's not the abbreviated version of you. It's not the modified version. It is the authentic you. When I came into this relationship, and at first, we were just trying to see what the lick read. It was like, well, we friends. This might be a little weird, but let's see.
Right.
I brought 100% of myself, which I have not done. I'm sorry to those men, but I have not done that in past relationships. I brought 100%. I'm talking about petrified, scary. Are you going to like this? Is this going to scare you off? Is this going to X, Y, and Z? Over communicating because I'm an overthinker. I feel safe. And it's not because he is coming into, this is another thing, and I hope y'all don't block me. But he's not coming in to fill a void.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally coming in to complement the work that I'm already doing.
This is good. Good.
7.
He's not coming in because there's this big empty and if he comes, he gonna show me this love and that's what I'm missing. I'm missing some companionship. I'm missing somebody to hold me, somebody to and that's fine. Those are really good things. But he's literally coming in to complement the work that I'm already doing on myself. I was okay with loving on myself. Him loving on me is literally an added bonus.
That's so good.
But I was loving myself before he got here, and he was loving on himself before I got here. And that's what I love so much about this situation is because he was independently already loving himself. So what I'm bringing, number one, so I had to bring my A game. You know what I'm saying?
But your A game, you said something that was so profound, and I can't wait to turn this over to T. Your A game was you brought your fears. That's what
absolutely.
That was the thing. In some relationships, we don't bring our fears.
Yeah.
We just bring our strengths. We bring all the good stuff. We don't bring our bad stuff. And I'm learning that, if you're going to accept this look and this smile, you got to accept this dad bod, baby.
Okay.
You gotta take it off.
Dad, you got to accept this.
And another big thing, and I'm going to give it to you, T, but another big thing for me, because I have, going through depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, which made me feel less than, was him being able to accept that, because it's another reason why I got social media. People will put their expectations on you based on the highlights you post. People expect, he's chipper, he's smiling, he's this. I'm not. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not even a morning person. I'm not always like, I have downs. I really do. But I think the first time I had a moment where I had to tell him, I'm sorry, babe, if you felt a shift in my energy. I ran low and I needed a moment. And he told me, you do not have to explain that to me.
Wow.
Just be.
Wow.
Amazing.
I was like, I might need you to pull this call over real quick.
That's amazing.
But it's literally that type of energy, and I didn't even know the things that I'm receiving. I didn't even know that those were the things that I needed. But I blindly went on this journey to say, you know what? All of the things I've been ignoring that I need to heal, the spaces I need to heal, and the bridges I need to mend for myself. Like, I'm gonna just start doing that. And then this came along, and it has been blessed.
Accepting your depression, accepting your anxiety.
Yes.
Somebody that can, when you're anxious, it's kind of like when James gets running around in circles and he's ready to eat. Instead of me saying, shut up, it's like, okay, Bubby, I know you're hungry. Let's feed you. Calm down. I got you.
But I had to accept it first.
You had to
I'm gonna say that.
I can't wait to get your input, your insight. And then I have a question for you. And you know what that question is. Q, you know what this question is.
Come on.
I don't have anything to add to this.
Sierra Fine. Did you see
that? Come on, T.
I see you. I ain't gonna call your name out, but I see you, Sierra Fine. But
Come on, T.
Y'all. Next subject.
Next subject.
Next subject. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's fine. So before I move on to this other, because we didn't leave, I'm gonna still come back for Sierra and her fine comment, but I want to ask you this, Q. For an overthinker like you that's listening, for someone out there, how did you know? How did you know that this is a safe space? Because we can be, as an overthinker, you can be in a safe space but still talk yourself out of a safe space. You could be.
I will say for me, I don't want to put a template on anybody else because I think we're all kind of different. We may all overthink. For me, when literally the way that I felt overwhelmed the way that I thought, if that makes any sense. So I overthink everything, but literally consistent action after consistent action after consistent action after affirmation after comfortable conversation after establishment of a safe space. Literally, I did not have time to overthink because I was overwhelmed with, and not just the butterflies and those initial stuff, but I was overwhelmed with being present. So thank God I was already doing the work to be present in the moment, but being so present in it, it didn't leave me a lot of space to overthink things.
Mhm.
Another thing that also helped me was because I accepted that about myself, and I told him straight up, I'm an overthinker. So because of that, I need to over communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to come and say, it's happening again. This is what I'm thinking about. And I did that. And literally every conversation, I didn't feel like he was dismissive. I didn't feel like he was like, oh, here you go again. Or why don't you just, I didn't already told you that such and such. It was like, okay, I get that. I mean, that's perfectly fine. You want to talk about it now? Or you want to like call and talk about it, tonight before we go to bed? And I was like, you know what? I could do that.
You deserve this joy.
I can do that, but that's literally what it was. Like someone who will take you out of your head and start paying attention to your heart. So the conversations that we were
Don't slide that by us like that.
that is the if I could sum it up, that would literally be it. That man saw my heart. So the way that I provided and him kind of seeing, that's the way that I show love, and him saying, you don't have to do that. Let me, do something small for you. Let me show you that you don't have to always step in and be, the big man. And like, he saw my heart. Like I told him about my head and what was going on in there, but he was more so concerned about, what was going on in my heart. And for me, because that takes an extra level of attention.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because, the way that you think comes out in the way that you act, the way that you speak. Your heart also comes out in those things, but somebody not just paying attention to, trying to prick your brain, but literally trying to get to the heart of who you are. For me, that was like, I just felt safe, and I feel safe. And I think that's what helps me kind of stay out of my head. The first time we hung, and I'm going to say this just because I was mentioning it the other day. The first time we hung out and we were like just laid up in a hotel room because he lives in Houston, I live here. Okay. I was like
Texas.
In Texas.
Okay.
Wow.
I was nervous because I was laying. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Great comes out of Texas. That's just my plug. I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I'm moving to Texas soon.
I know. I
wait. Okay.
So we're laid up in a hotel room.
We'll take that.
We'll come back. We'll come back. But we were laid up, and so I'm used to feeling the moments. So a joke, a conversation, or something, just something to reassure me that everything's okay. And in that moment, he would just do little stuff that would just take me out of my head. Like anything as small as we laying there, just grab my hand. Or
make you be present.
Like stroke my ear or something, like just to show me that I'm like, no words, but just literally showing me that I'm here. And so now the last time we were just in Dallas this weekend having a little vacation, a little secret vacation.
Secret, okay.
A little secret vacation. And
he forgot I lived in Dallas. It wasn't on his mind.
Wow.
I know. No, that's why. Because
don't do that. Don't do that.
I would never do that.
Don't do that.
But that's perfect. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But it came full circle because in that moment, like I didn't feel the need to fill space. I didn't feel anxious. I wasn't in my head. Like I was able to literally sit in the present, the silent present, and be perfectly fine. But that happens over time. If you're an overthinker, be with someone who understands that and appreciates that about you, and that they don't have to go overboard with, whatever trying to address you being an overthinker, but they just need to let them make you feel safe. But then on your part, let them do it.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to come out of your head. If you feel safe, come out of your head a little bit.
Okay, cute. T, move on. Let's go to you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because that overthinking part for me, you know, but that's beautiful. I applaud you. I'm so proud of you. Texas, you say?
Wow.
I'm so excited. Come on, come on.
I got to find me a job so when I graduate, I can come to Texas.
I'm on my way.
We need you. So, you know, Tiara being so fine that you are, you know,
Fine, baby. Okay.
what is? How do you? So you are the representation of a strong Black woman.
Mm.
And strength in the sense of you are aware of yourself. You're not a woman that, and y'all, I've known her for years. So when I say this, I can say this. She doesn't date up or down. She just dates. So she's not dating up for somebody to promote or make her something else, or date down because she's trying to fix a project. She just dates for somebody that gives great energy. Mm-hmm. And so how do you navigate through, or how have you navigated through the past year with your acceptance or allowance, or just navigated through that space?
It's just been me detoxing my emotions and things of that nature, and accepting, you know, that my former relationship ended. You know, that was a lot of years invested in. So I just had to get in the space to where it is, you know, it is what it is, and just focus on me, you know. Wasn't really any dating, or I don't have anything to add to that piece in regards to people and places and vacations and stuff like that, because I wasn't in a position to do that. I would be carrying whatever from then to now. And so I didn't invest my time there. I just invested my time into myself.
But as a therapist, how do you date? Because that's because y'all, baby girl, she's not just a therapist. She's working on a doctoral degree. So y'all gonna be writing papers and understanding her essays and knowing some stuff. But how do you navigate through that?
I don't really think I navigate. I mean,
because do you feel like people have this expectation because you are a therapist, like you should have and know, and you shouldn't have emotions, and you should just be able to, you know, therapize?
Right. I mean, you know, it's honestly, if I were to date, it's, are you analyzing me, or
oh yeah,
you know, and I'm like, I'm not analyzing you. I'm just present. Like, I don't have the answer. You might think that I have the answer, but I don't. You might think that I want to lead, but I don't. Like, what do you want to do? Where are we going to eat? What do we want to do? What's the what? You know, I am tired of leading. So you have a misperception that because I'm a strong Black woman, and that's also another conversation for another day, that I don't always want to be strong. Like, I want to be soft. I want to be, it's not the word that I'm looking for, but we'll find another word for it.
Soft is a beautiful word.
Yeah, I want to be soft. Like, I want you to help me figure it out. So I'm in a place now where I'm trying to be more of that, you know, so as I figure out what dating is and all of that. So yeah, it's a weird, it's a strange place, but we're here. So,
and I think that's a beautiful thing, because I think even in the allowance piece, you have to allow time to be time and space to be space. So when we top of the call, when we got on, we first said, you know, was updating you guys. So y'all, I had these big plans for 40. Was going to do this big party, and then middle of the year when I made this transition, I was like, I'm gonna not do the big party so much. I'm gonna just do something great, invite friends down, and then do something different. And I bought one of my dream cars, and I was in a hit and run accident, you know, and I'm just floored. Stepped outside of my car, and the person drives off. And I'm just like, gotta be kidding me. And I have a car that, let's just say, the thank God that they approved it today. But the estimated damages for my car to get fixed is $15,000. Okay, so you're looking at $15,000 of, and I knew that it was more than, and I'm just like, this driver drove away. But and I had plans for this my birthday weekend, and I was gonna be in my car, and I bought it, and I'm having to accept disappointment and allow that whatever is happening is beyond my control. Started a new job, and I'm like, well, I like to do this, I want to do this with my job. And I had to realize, wait, babe, well, you're 20 some days in, you can't save the world. And so accepting who you are and allowing it, but beyond that, appreciating the moment. So the other day, me, one of my sisters, and my brother, we were out running errands or whatever, and we decided to stop and have some food. And we started having, we had a drink or whatever, and we were having conversations. And 2 hours in, it was like that moment of like, we would have never had this moment. Let's appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate the space that we're in. Let's appreciate, whatever happens happening. And that's where I feel like it's a full circle. But it takes accepting and allowing and some work to get to the appreciation moment. Because to fully appreciate something, you have to go through something, to fully appreciate someone holding your hand or, moving your hair. That's why he's growing his hair out, y'all, because, move your hair.
Look at him blushing. Look at him blushing.
All those pieces. We think about, when we were kids and used to fall asleep on the phone with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
No, you hang up. The next thing you know, in the morning, you wake up, you're like, we still on the phone together.
Slobbing all on the phone.
Right. Nowadays, if you ain't charged it, if you ain't plugged to the charger, it's going to die.
Right.
But, that's safety. And I'm not allowing someone to not make you feel safe. Because when someone doesn't make you feel safe.
Right.
But when we make ourselves allow somebody to make us not feel safe for the sake of this is what we're used to, we can't appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate, Q. It's not perfect where you are, but you are appreciating those moments. T, it's not perfect where you are, but you are appreciating those dancing moments. Mm-hmm. We are appreciating where we are. And so I'm so grateful that the space that we're in, the growth, last year, we was on a whole nother level. We was talking about things, and we thought we was at a,
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
It was crazy. Ooh, man.
Ridiculous, off the wall. But you know what? Acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
I accepted that everything that happened in that moment, it was so tragic. But everything that happened was supposed to happen. Those things that literally I thought I would not get to the other side of are the very reason that I am on the other side and that I feel the way that I feel today. Those things actually had to happen. They were necessary.
And saying that, I want to say this, and I want you to go next to say some things to wrap up. But when it talks about relationships, accepting and allowing, like this relationship, y'all that's watching, this is a beautiful relationship. T and Q and I, we don't talk every day. When we talk, it's no judgment or shame in when we don't talk or when we talk. And that's a beautiful thing, is that it's a safe space. So Q, you probably heard this, and I'm picking on you when I say this because we've all been through that. When you posted you was in a relationship, everybody was like, why you didn't tell me? They was in a feelings. Me and T got on there in our text chat, and we just was like, oop, we see you. Why you we started, make sure we invited to such and such.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're happy.
Very much so.
Positive and safe relationships, is that we don't have to be joined at the hip. We can talk about any and everything.
And we do.
We have that 911 bat call emergency that, y'all pray for me. It's, and those are some amazing relationships. When you find yourself in a relationship where you feel like it's a chore, accept it, baby. Y'all not in the same space, and I'm so appreciative of this space and this relationship. Last night we were texting. I was like, y'all, let's do Black Boy Joe Yell Live. And everybody was like, okay, let's do it. And so we're here. And so I appreciate that. And so that's how I want to wrap this up, is I appreciate the relationship. I appreciate the space I'm in. I appreciate 40. While I was waiting to have this big moment to celebrate the milestone, I'm just ready to celebrate the journey of being 40.
Wow.
I'm still supple.
Dope.
But, I'm doing my thing. I'm happy. I'm enjoying.
Happy for you.
Love it.
Thank you.
You deserve
Yeah.
to be happy.
Yeah.
You deserve it. So every moment you ride that wave to the end, okay? Unapologetically, okay? Yeah.
So T, when you gonna get you some boots and a hat?
Listen. I have a friend already there. She moved a couple years ago. She likes it. And so I've always liked Texas. So, I may have to pay a trip to kind of see, what the vibe. And I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. This might be prophetic,
I can speak for Dallas. You got to visit and a place to stay here in Dallas. Now, I don't know about Houston because
I'm not going to tread on. I'm not going to tread on Houston's path. Okay. You know what I mean?
I was trying to say, I don't know if anybody moving to Houston are going to have space, but Dallas.
Well, Bays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wherever it is make you happy, y'all. Listen, I done bought me some cowboy boots. I'm trying to collect me some more and some cowboy hats. I love Zydeco music. So get y'all a buckle.
I want the boots.
You want the boots?
I want the boots.
Get you some boots. And I'm gonna send you some country music to listen to.
I love country music.
It depends. It depends.
Shania Twain, Dixie Chicks, Wide Open Spaces.
They just changed their name to just the Chicks, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They took off Dixie.
Yeah, they took off Dixie. I can't remember the exact. It's rooted in something, but
yeah, Shania Twain.
So I like Shania. I like some old country, but I like Carrie Underwood.
If you think about moving to Texas or considering Texas, Zydeco music. If you get you some good Zydeco music,
I don't think I've
sing some songs. Zydeco music. It is.
Send me something.
Send me some.
Go bounce. Yeah, you think you dancing now? It's amazing.
One thing I will say, y'all don't sleep down there, because here's the thing. I was there this past weekend and we was out, and I had looked at it at my watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 a.m.
and they were still bumping.
People were outside like it was 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is really going on? Like this is a lot. But I enjoyed the feel of the city. Definitely made Charlotte look real sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
It made Charlotte look real sleepy. So I'm excited about the prospects. Because for me, and I won't go too much into it, we ran out of time, but it's just a fresh start. It's an opportunity to do new things. So I'm excited about coming down and I'm closer to family. I have family in Houston, and then Memphis is 6 hours away. So that's
cool. That's really cool. Well, sis, we got to get you to come and visit in between one of these, because you're in your doctorate program. You'll be.
I am. Yeah. God is just so good. I may be finishing sooner than later. Finally got some assistance with school after many years of prayer and hashing it out on my own. So. Yeah, you never know what will happen and where my path might lead me. My heart is kind of in the DMV area.
We just want you to come visit. That's
I love Texas, so I will definitely be paying a visit or wherever God's path takes me. So, yeah.
Amen.
So, what's your book recommendation? That's gonna be the last question. What's the book recommendation?
Recommendations?
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if they want to read what I'm reading right now.
Right. I got two. Look, which book you want? You want this one? You want this one? You want this one? What you want? This one?
Ah,
What? Now this is a great one.
I was gonna say, what's that first
We
one?
want to do more than just survive. Abolitionist teaching and the pursuit of educational freedom. I'm just speaking to the injustice of education, things of that nature. So it's a good read. But all of my books are school books. So
Oh, that's real deep.
I like that first one. I might need you to send me that title.
yeah, I will.
I like Radical Possibilities.
Yeah,
That was really good.
this is urban education, social policy.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Oh, I guess I should get it so they could see. Hold on.
Yeah. Q's always got good books and
Mhm.
until you're just the authorian,
Just reading.
can't wait for you to write a book.
So I need to get a little further, but she's a little thick. This is what I'm reading right now.
Ooh, that is thick.
Stamped from the beginning, Ibram Kendi.
Okay.
The History of Racist Ideas. So basically, the whole premise is to kind of introduce some of the how do I they use 5 major figures to introduce racism, segregationism, and assimilation, and how racism was kind of introduced into the country, how it's kind of shaped some of the institutional systems, and basically who the key figures that had some very pivotal parts in pushing forth racist agendas. So I'm not going to give anything away, but Thomas Jefferson is in here. So if you have not heard of Sally Hemings, I would suggest that you Google that. If you've not heard of Sarah Bartman, I would suggest Googling that. And just some other figures.
Yes.
Yeah, Leo Africanus, which he's somebody that I actually just learned about. Let's just say if you've heard the term coon. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's very heavy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's very heavy. That's why I ain't finished, because it takes a lot of prayer to get. I'd be mad. But it's really good. It's a historical introduction, and it's a lot of fact based. So you can rely on this. And there's like an appendix in the back where you can actually verify the things for yourself. But for me, I'm on a kick where I'm trying to really just learn a lot about myself, and then also kind of like the roots of Black people in this country, and all that stuff. So just trying to be self-aware, but also just more educated, because I have a lot of education, but the things I need to know, I don't. And I'm gonna just say that.
You're learning.
I'm gonna just put it that way. It's very westernized. So to get a job, I could blow a job out the water. But if I had to sit around a group of my peers and talk about some self-identity issues, I am not as versed as I would like to be. So it's a part of my own self-exploration. If you're kind of in that same vein, or you kind of want to just, get more of a historical context of Black people in this country and how the ideas of racism, segregationism, and then this whole thing of assimilation was introduced, I would say read either this, and there's another one called A People's History of the United States. It's a little heavier than this actually, but
ooh, these heavy books.
Yeah.
I'm working on this book right now. I will put verses go get in. I'll just share with you guys.
Let go. Who you think?
Ooh, I love that.
I like that.
Send that to us. Yes.
Yeah. So that's my 40 read, The Gifts of Imperfection, letting go of who you think you are, because that perfection thing. So that's where I'm educating at, and I'm so
send me that real quick. Send me that.
I think it's beautiful to read. I think it's beautiful to learn. I think it's more beautiful to journal and express yourself in a creative way.
Agreed.
And more than anything, expressing yourself in a creative way is allowing your joy to shine.
Yeah.
And not just doing, but find yourself living and being your joy, not just your Black boy joy, but your joy. Whatever it is that brings you joy, please do it and live it.
Sooner rather than later.
Because you deserve it. You deserve your joy. And whatever brings you joy, if it's dancing, in the living room or making a dance floor in your house or crying to your heart's content, do it.
Yep.
Because it's a beautiful thing. So love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, we'll follow up on that Tiara is fine comment later.
I just clicked open. I just saw it, and I was like, we can discuss later.
We won't.
Good night, y'all. Enjoy it.